Hello, and welcome to Dude, Where Is My Life? And my name is Nikki, and here's my co-host.
This is Adam, and my first goal for this week's show, it's episode 3, by the way, is...
It is.
Right.
Episode 3.
I will not start out the shows anymore by saying, howdy there. I don't know why I did that last time. I'm from New Jersey, but I've lived in Texas over 30 years, but I'm not a cowboy.
The fact that you're not even from Texas and you said howdy there.
Yeah, well, some things happen after a while. You use different words, like y'all has replaced you guys years ago, which is fine.
Yes.
But yeah, I'm not a boot salesman, so I don't know where the howdy there came from.
Are you sure though? Because you might be a boot salesman. You did say howdy there. Like, it sounds like you're trying to work at La Hacienda Ranch.
No.
Just saying.
No, if anything, I'm still working on the Taco Bell future career spokesman thing.
No Cavenders. No Cavenders in your future.
None of that. So that's why we didn't have me start out this week. But as luck would have it, I did have a Texan type encounter. I was driving to the gym the other day, and probably a mile or two away from where I live, there's these hilly fields around here, and the land's worth a lot. So for people who aren't from the area, some people use it as farmland to pay lower taxes.
Yes.
So this one area has all these cows grazing all the time, and there's a small cow that got outside the barbed wire fence.
Just sat there?
Yeah, and he was there, and he kind of walked towards the road, and his mom, I guess, was trying to get him to go back in. So I decided, okay, I'm going to help this situation. So I parked, and I grabbed my knife and some gloves.
What?
Well, I didn't know what I'd have to do. I wasn't, not to kill it.
You're going to kill the cow?
No, if he got,
knife
I don't
him.
know.
Just casually knife him.
No. So I went across the street, and I thought I could just walk up to the cow like a dog or cat and be like, hey there, and, and then just help him through the fence. But as I got over there, he just started running away from me. Then he almost ran into the road, and I had to stop traffic and make sure he wasn't running onto the road. And then I backed away, and I called the police because I figured...
It's like a big thing. Like, the cows on that road is a huge deal. Like, the colony police get called almost every day because of them. I actually know the guy who is responsible for all of the cattle and all of the field operations. I don't know what they call it. But yeah, he used to come into the bar that I worked at all the time, and he was like, these freaking cows. He's like, always getting out on the damn road. I don't even give a shit. It's the last thing on my fucking list. Blah blah blah. And I'm like, oh, okay, buddy. Like, I'm like, there's just cows casually like maybe hitting cars or getting hit by cars, but that's fine.
And there almost was an accident because I went back across the street, and then some other car stopped suddenly when he saw the cow, and then he almost got rear-ended.
Yeah.
Like the other car behind him had to throw on the brakes.
Yeah.
And then some other guy came running up who seemed more Texan or more ranch-like than me.
Like he knew a cow. He knew his way around a cow.
And he said, yeah, they got out all the time. He ran over there, and then the cow started kind of running up the hill, and he and some other people who got the cow to a safe zone where at least he wouldn't be out in the street.
So he did know his way around a cow better than you, clearly.
Yeah, I assume most people would.
Damn Texans.
So I guess that made me feel a little less bad about using the howdy there intro last time.
Yeah, I mean, you can put the ye in your haw now. It's fine.
So I think instead of that, we're going to try to be a little more educated.
Oh.
And I was thinking, I don't have a great vocabulary. I don't know if you do.
I do.
Okay.
I do.
Well, last week came into question when you used risky instead of risque, but anyone can make a mistake like that.
That's not a different word, though. That's just a different pronunciation.
I think it's a different spelling. But anyway.
Oh, yeah, you're right. It does have the little...
And I think I threw out a word gratuitous when we were talking about something. Oh, we were talking about guys getting blown up in movies.
Oh, gratuitous.
Right, and I don't think I've really used that word before, so it's not like a big word, but it's my first time. And then I learned a new word at work. This girl was talking about grifters. You know what they are?
Vaguely.
So
yes.
They're people that come into someone's life and they try to extract everything out of them, like money or whatever they can, and then
Yeah.
once they've gotten what they want, they disappear.
Yeah.
And I never really knew what that was, and she was surprised at, so well, I kind of thought they were like drifters, and it's not totally far off the mark.
Yeah, it's not bad. It's not too far off.
But yeah, I thought it was like a drifter, but like G style.
Yeah.
And she said, "What do you mean by that?" I said, "I don't know. I just."
Jesus, but like make it gangster.
Yeah,
It's
but
fine. 50 Cent. It's fine.
I was just happy to learn a new word because that's
Yeah.
something I should do, I think.
They also, I feel like grifter is very similar to the word, I don't know if you've heard of it, hobosexual.
No.
So like not homosexual, but it's hobosexual.
Right.
And so it's like basically like a guy that will like go onto like dating apps or dating sites or wherever he needs to be. And he seems like he wants to date a female, have
Uh-huh.
a relationship, fall in love, all that good stuff. But in reality, this man just needs a place to live. He'll like stay over at your house the first night, right? And you're like, oh, this is love. And then at that point, you're cupcaking, which is another word. I don't know if you know about that.
No, you might as well educate me.
Okay, cupcaking is when you're like in like the honeymoon phase. Everything is perfect. There's nothing wrong with this relationship whatsoever. You can't see any flaws, any red flags, any orange flags, no flags whatsoever. And this person will come into your life and get you into the cupcake phase so that way you think it's perfect, and then all of a sudden you realize like 3 months later like y'all are just like living together and like he's not paying bills but you are. But he's staying on your couch. It's called hobosexual.
Okay.
And they make a living off of it. Like, I mean, I guess not a living, but they survive. They survive. Their bills are paid.
Yeah, I guess I'm thinking if a girl wanted to move in with me, I would be saying, okay, let's get that first month's rent.
Thank you. Like first and last, please.
But I could.
Can I see your credit score, please?
I could also see if you're trying to help someone. They say, "Hi, I just need a
Yeah.
month to. I got kicked out. Whatever.
Yeah,
I need a month
yeah.
to catch up on my bills." I could see something like that.
Or and especially like if you're being love bombed by someone.
Yeah, I've heard that expression. So I didn't know
Another
if
word.
Is that the same as cupcaking, more or less?
No, love bombed is like when you, I don't know how to exactly explain it. It's when someone just like throws affectionate terms at you and they're just like super, super corny and cheesy and sweet for no fucking reason. And you're like, I don't really understand why they're being this nice, but like, I'm going to take it. I'm going to accept it because this is what I deserve, right? I've been waiting this whole time. And then it's really just them using it as a counteractive. Like they'll use it to counteract later, if that
Right.
makes sense.
Yeah, I get it.
Like they'll be like, I did all these things for you. I did all this stuff.
I guess it's the stuff people have been doing for years. They're just coming up
Yeah.
with new words for it.
Yeah, exactly. I
But-
can't keep up with it. It's really hard. I
Yeah.
try hard.
Well, no, that's why I need to be around some younger people. So when someone's doing something like that to me, I know it.
Yeah, I do
And-
too. I can't
Of
even
course.
understand half of it.
Yeah, but I mean, I'll accept the love bombing because right now there's no love and no bombing.
You're like,
so,
I want some kind of bomb.
Yeah, I want some kind of love, some kind of bomb. I like cupcakes.
I like cupcakes.
So bring something on, and then
So single ladies listening to this podcast, all 3 million of you, I need you to just blow up Adam's DMs, please,
yes,
because he needs to be love bombed and cupcaked.
yes, do that. And what are my DMs, by the way?
Come on, toxic queens.
What are my DMs?
Your DMs are I don't know. I don't even know. Do we have DMs? I don't know what that means.
Okay, well,
What is a DM?
okay.
Oh wait, direct. Okay, never mind. I'm sorry. I'm a bad millennial.
Yeah, I need you. If you're younger than me, you need to be able to help me with this stuff. But anyway, let's get on to something a little more serious for a minute.
Yes.
I wanted to thank you for coming on and not even knowing me, but trusting
Yeah.
me to talk about some kind of personal stuff about not just a little bit about your love life, but all the anxieties and things like that. Because that stuff's hard to talk about, and it's hard to open up and put it out there in front of possibly hundreds.
3 million people.
Yeah, 3 million people.
At least.
And have them know about what's going on in your life. So I think that was cool that you did that. And do you think how's your anxiety at this point, a couple weeks later?
My anxiety is actually like a lot better. driving is still a no-go for me.
Uh-huh.
But honestly, I just don't think I'm made for traffic. And I don't think traffic is made for me. Like, it's terrifying. But other than that, like, other than traffic, I did have to leave work early on Friday of last week just because, like, I was just crawling out of my skin. Like, honestly, like, that was, like, I told my manager, I was like, I can't explain anything else other than this. Like, I just need to go. I just need to go home. And I did, and I slept all weekend, and it was very cathartic. It was very good. And overall, like, it's been a lot better. It's just, you know, anxiety is like one of those things where, like, it's different for every single person. So it's not something that you could just, first of all, diagnose, hand on foot, like, this is absolutely what you have. Second of all, it's very hard to treat because every single person's case is different. So it's just kind of trying to figure out, like, what works for you, what doesn't work for you. And that's the shitty part, is, like, a lot of it is, like, figuring out what doesn't work for you before you figure out what does work for you. But I think I've got, like, a pretty good grip on it right now.
All right.
So.
Well, I like to think that doing this show has already helped you. So
Yeah, that's what I told my parents. I was like, man, if anything, this is free talk therapy. Like, it's perfect. I mean, and I feel like everyone should be able to, like, have a voice like this, you know, and speak on what they're dealing with, you know?
yeah, I know for me, a couple episodes ago when I talked about how my relationship ended, that was tougher than I thought because
Yeah.
I kind of went through the story in my head, and since I was not happy about this situation, you know,
Yeah.
when it's a breakup like that, you play it through in your head lots of times. So when I was talking, I started to talk, I thought it'd be okay, but then when I started getting towards the end, it was, yeah, then all of a sudden, when I was done talking and Lou was here and she's just staring into my eyes, we talked a little bit after that, but I just wanted to almost cry at that point. And then I'm thinking about, not only am I saying that, but I'm also imagining tons of people listening to it, and it
judging you. And
yeah, it hurts and it's embarrassing, but I think once you do it, it's good to...
It's so cathartic.
Yeah, I think it helped afterwards.
Yeah.
And I was also thinking about the blood pressure thing you were talking about, because over the last couple of years, as I've gone through anxiety on and off, the blood pressure does change.
Yeah. It's crazy, man.
Yeah, because I've always had good blood pressure. And then
Yes.
I started going to the dentist more often as a way to improve myself, because I neglected that for a while.
Good teeth, good life.
Yeah, and my blood pressure was always a little high there, and then I would go to the stores, like the drugstore, the grocery store, where they have those checkers, and yeah, they're not the most advanced way of checking your blood pressure, but I think if you're doing it a couple times a week at all these different locations and you're still getting kind of the same readings, then you think, okay, statistically, yeah, my blood pressure is getting up there.
Yeah.
And at some point, I was able to calm myself. I just, after months and months of this, or maybe a couple of years, I just said, okay, I've been working out, I'm getting in a better place, and I have nothing. I feel like a loser, but I have nothing, and all I could do is start from here and move forward.
Yeah.
And when I did that, it definitely calmed me down. And then I went to the doctor to do a physical a couple weeks later, and my blood pressure was normal. Yeah.
Perfect.
And I hadn't had a physical in 8 years. I've actually only had 2 physicals as an adult.
Yeah.
Which probably isn't
not
the
very good.
Correct number of times for an annual physical, because it's called an annual physical for a reason.
But you're only 2 years old, so it's fine. Or, I'm sorry, you're 3. You're 3.
Yeah, but it just shows how this anxiety does really affect your health. And
Yeah.
I kind of used it in a positive way at times, because I'd wake up and then I'd start having all the negative thoughts and everything, and I could feel my blood pressure going. But for a while, it was helping me get out of bed earlier. So I looked at that as a positive and tried to...
Which is not good, though. It's not good.
Maybe short term, you could use it as a positive thing, but it's not...
It's like a manic high. Like, you're like, this is good for right now, but, like, this is not going to be good.
But it's not really sustainable.
Yeah, no, that's exactly how mine was. Like, I've always had average blood pressure, and then all of a sudden it just, like, skyrocketed, and I was in the hospital for a week, and then after I started learning how to, like, deal with things, you know, like talking on this podcast, getting my medications regimented, and trying to, like, get a schedule, like a normal schedule, and get back to being, like, a normal person, I started noticing it was just naturally coming down itself. And like even today, I didn't even take my blood pressure medication today, and my blood pressure was like 116 over 82.
Cool.
Which is like perfect.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm good. I'm healed. I'm perfect now. And now it's probably about to skyrocket back up again. But
Well,
yeah, it very much is like it plays like your mental plays a lot into the physical. And you don't realize that until it's too late, and then you're stuck in a hospital bed, and you're like, well, this sucks.
that would suck.
It does. It does. The
So
food was okay though.
it was probably your parents intercepting the food on the way in. And
It
they're
totally
no,
was.
give her this food.
You know, my mom's a nurse, so like she literally the hospital I was staying at was right across the street from where she worked. So like, yeah, I'm sure it's probably my mom. Had a
Yeah,
lot
she
to
probably
do
got
with
to
it.
go over there, give everyone advice and
Just
everything.
beat everyone up, like take care of my daughter.
So I was just talking about how in the morning, just those thoughts would get in my head. But I've noticed lately in the last couple of years, I don't know if it's related, but there will be songs that'll get stuck in my head for longer periods of time. Does that happen to
Yeah,
you?
yeah,
So
yeah.
the newest one for me is, do you know Weird Al Yankovic songs?
Yes, I do. Yes, I'm very
So-
well aware.
So recently I discovered the one called The Saga Begins. It's about the beginning of the Star Wars story. Have you heard that one?
No.
It is so good. Do you know the song American Pie?
Yeah.
So it's set to American Pie, and he's talking about he and the other Jedi guy meeting Anakin and all this stuff. And it's a really good song. The lyrics are great. And it's just been stuck in my head. And I just like literally woke up the other day and it was like playing in my head. And I was like, what's wrong with me? Because I went from thinking, what could I have done to save my relationship? And now I've got Weird Al Yankovic songs going on in my head. But I guess that's a little bit better.
No, that's terrible. That is absolutely like the fact that like out of all the songs in the world, you choose to have, or I guess you didn't choose it. It chose you. Weird Al Yankovic. Out of all the songs that have stuck in your head.
So the song that was stuck in my head before that, though, was there's a song called "You're 16, You're Beautiful and You're Mine." I don't know if that's the lyrics. It's an older song.
By who?
Well, I never knew who did it. I thought it was a song from the 50s, but it's also done probably around 1970 by Ringo Starr, from the Beatles.
Oh yeah, Ringo,
And-
the best Beatle.
Yeah, but it's the lyrics don't really stand the test of time, I'd say.
Oh no! So you're telling me that you either have Weird Al Yankovic or some very inappropriate lyrics stuck in your head?
Well, it's because at the bar I work at, we do karaoke a lot, and there's one guy would always sing that song, and every time it seemed like when I'd be, the bar I'm working at doesn't have the karaoke because I'm in
Yeah,
the back, but
yeah.
I go up front, it seemed
Yeah,
like
you're in the Cool Kid
I
bar.
kept hearing that song, and it got stuck in my head. Because I thought it was funny, I was just talking about it, and then there it was in my head.
Oh
And-
man, so you're just inappropriate all around.
It's kind of catchy. I mean, if you're a high school person singing it, it's not bad, but
Yeah, I don't think we would classify you as a high school person. I mean, we could try.
right.
We could try.
Well, my senior year of high school, there is a song by the Stray Cats called "Sexy and 17." You probably don't know that, but I was a senior in high school, so it was appropriate for me to sing
Yeah.
that song at that point.
Because you were sexy in 17.
Yeah, maybe we should go to something else now.
So I have to ask you about the cat
The cat.
on the patio.
So
Are you in love with the owner yet?
I haven't encountered the owner yet, but well, aside
It's-
from that one
Well,
time
yeah,
where
but that
she
was
caught me
fate.
petting the cat.
That was fate.
So I didn't go back to the patio because I felt a little weird, especially after that incident. So a couple days later, I was inside my apartment. It was probably midnight, 1 a.m, and I got something from my car, and I was gonna bring something out to my car in a minute. So I shut my door, but I didn't slam it shut, and I was doing something, and I used my Jedi senses, and I
From the
sensed,
Weird Al Yankovic song.
yeah. So I sensed a change in the lighting in the room, and I looked, and my door was open about 6 inches, and I thought, oh, I guess the wind blew the door open. And I start walking over there, and I look down, and a cat is standing there inside my apartment.
He's taking property.
And it sounds
This
like
is not your apartment. This is his apartment now.
it sounds like I'm making it up.
It really
Because
does.
that's all I could think was, okay, she's not going to believe this.
You would have no idea. But this cat just walked into my door, opened it.
So I walked over and he got a little nervous. He stepped outside, so I petted him outside for a while. But I don't think I petted him in front of my apartment, and I don't remember him ever seeing me walk in my apartment. So
He knew you. He knew where you were.
yeah, I didn't think he knew exactly where I lived.
He's been taking recon for like months now.
Maybe the cats have a better sense of smell than we realize, and he just picked up on my
Oh no,
scent.
he's got a whole recon team. He's been paying people. He knows all your passwords. You're screwed.
So now, if I don't feel as bad if I went back to his patio and I was petting him outside because I could tell his owner that he's come to my place.
You're like, it's our patio now.
Yeah.
This is our patio.
So yeah, if she accused me of something, I could tell her that the cat came into my apartment,
Like, look,
and I don't know if she would believe me, but
you just gotta take evidence. Take pictures next time.
right. So I think that event brings my stalker rating down a few notches for sure.
Yeah, I think that gives you like at least like a negative 3 points on the stalker rating. I don't know where that leaves you. We're gonna have to let all 3 million of our viewers decide on that, but definitely subtract 3 from whatever you have.
Okay, yeah, I thought so. So a little bit on the same subject, but not involving cats. I went to the grocery store, and I got out of my car, and this very cute girl was bringing her grocery cart out, and I forgot something in my car. I think I forgot my money, so I went back to my car, and her car was parked right next to mine. And I wanted to say something to her because why not? You never know where you're going to meet someone who could be that next great person in your life.
Yeah.
And she was putting her grocery bags in a trunk. And I guess she was in pretty good shape. She was putting them like 2 at a time. She had very good form as she was putting the grocery bags away.
Is there a form?
Well, she wasn't struggling at some awkward angle. She was just right on. And I said,
She's just about it.
yes. I said, oh, you have really good form putting the grocery bags away. You must be in good shape.
You have
So-
really good form. I love your grocery form.
So, but she actually reacted pretty positively. She smiled and laughed. She said, yeah, I'm engaging my core and, I'm making
She
sure.
did have good grocery form.
Yeah, she did. And then I wish I could have thought of the next line, but I couldn't think of anything. And the fact that I was in a parking lot, I didn't know how far I should take it because we're just in the parking lot,
Yeah,
Like,
you can't take things too far in a parking lot.
if we were in the store and
To game over.
yeah, and I had stuff in my cart and she had stuff and I started talking to her, then it would seem more natural. Maybe I should have just done something and asked for her number. I don't know how quickly you would do it at that point when you're just the guy in the parking lot.
I mean, you just commented on her grocery form.
Right.
So yeah, I would probably just ask for the number at that point because like, what else do you have to lose?
Yeah, you're probably right. I should have been.
You should have. That could have been the next level of your life.
Yeah, I should have said, well, since you didn't shoot me down for that. But
Like, right? Like, I'm glad you're engaging your core.
yeah, because some of my friends think they just keep saying, "Oh, you're stuck on your ex. You're stuck on your ex." But I'm not. I'm in parking lots.
You're in parking lots hanging out,
Well, no, I
trying to
wasn't
find
hanging-
hoes.
I was-
Like, parking lot hoes, where you at? All 3 million viewers.
I was actually going to the grocery store.
He was just going to the grocery store. Just that.
But I know a lot of people who they don't think it's right to hit on a girl or talk to someone in certain places, like the gym or the store or whatever.
No,
but
I think that there's not. I mean, maybe the gym. Maybe the gym.
the gym's harder now because back in the day, people weren't wearing headphones, so it was easier to just
Yeah.
talk to someone.
But like, I mean, like when people are in like compromising positions, like doing like workouts and stuff, like that's like the last time I would ever want someone to be like, hey, mama.
Yeah, well, I've
Get
talked to
your
girls
number,
at the
you know?
gym, but yeah, I don't walk up to the girl when she's
Like when she's in the middle of like squats and stuff,
Yeah,
like
when
you're
she's
just like
bending over.
like you're like she's like I'm just trying to lift this weight, bro. But like I feel like any time is appropriate. Like if you feel like someone is attractive and you have a natural vibe towards them, then why not?
right. I think too many people worry about that.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you can't talk to someone there. You can't talk
Yeah.
to someone there.
Or like what were you saying the last time, the last episode where you were talking about like the 3-day rule?
Right.
It's just fuck the 3-day rule, man. No one cares about that. Like, if you really like someone and you're into them, let them know. Because
Yeah.
I feel like, I mean, at least to me, if someone finds me attractive and authentic and cool and whatnot and they want to hang out with me, I want to know, you know, like, I don't want to wait 3 days. So, like, yeah, if you want to hang out in parking lots,
Yeah, maybe that's not the best example.
the parking
but-
lot perp. I mean, yeah, maybe you can find, like, better, like we said last time, the Barnes & Noble. Maybe we just need to find the right section for you.
Yeah, I guess it's just better to be in the store than outside.
Yeah, I feel like there's less legality.
But then if something happens and a relationship ends up forming,
Yeah.
then it's a great story. And I think girls should be more receptive to guys hitting on them in different places.
Yeah.
Because I know so many girls who complain that my boyfriend's a jerk, or I always go out with jerks, or
Yeah.
or no one's asking me out, or this and that. And you know, just if a guy wants to talk to you, let him talk to you. And if he's not your type, all you have to do is say, "Hey, sorry, I don't feel the same way," or you know, whatever your rejection line may be.
Yeah, the one of the best forms of wisdom I ever received was that the word no is a complete sentence. You don't have to explain yourself. So, like, if someone comes to you asking for something or wanting something from you, you can just say no. That's something that, like, I've personally tried to use in my life. Not really.
Yeah, and
That's
there's,
it.
There's
No.
no thank you, and there's lots of easy ways to do things.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, like, this is the South, you know, howdy, yeehaw. So, yeah, you have to say thank you and be respectful or whatnot. But, like, yeah, like, no is a complete sentence. You don't have to use anything else to explain yourself. If you say no, you mean no. That's all it is. That's all it means. That's all it needs to mean. And a lot of people don't adhere to that, which I feel like they very much should, because it gives you your power back, you know?
I definitely do see in bars sometimes where if a girl says no, there's the guys who get annoyed.
Yeah, and then that's when it becomes a problem.
Yeah, and that's why if you say no, thank you, but I appreciate you showing
Yeah.
interest, you can say anything like that,
Yeah.
and the guy may be less likely to keep trying then.
Exactly, but at the end of the day, those sentences are still just no.
Yeah, it
Just
still
with
amounts to the same
but
thing.
with sentiments added on the end.
Well, who knows? Maybe next week I'll encounter the girl inside the store,
Inside the store, in the pharmacy section.
and no, not the pharmacy section.
No?
No.
I feel like the pharmacy section is the most romantic. Or like the produce.
Yeah, that's a more stereotypical thing.
Produce, yeah.
Yeah.
Like you're looking at like kale. She's looking at cabbage. I don't know. I don't eat vegetables. I don't know anything about the produce
Yeah,
section.
maybe I could see if she has a good recipe for zucchini bread or
Yeah,
whatever.
y'all are like comparing berries. That'd be great. That would be a modern love story right there.
So, speaking of dates with girls, since you've kind of pushed me in a corner, I think I'm going to go on to the next couple dates I had with my ex, Vanessa,
Uh-oh.
because I see what you're doing here. So, I think the last date ended with, well, the date ending, and then us talking. Mm-hmm. The next week, that weekend, I started coming down with a cold, so I was like, oh man, this is going to break the momentum because I'm not feeling good. So
Yeah.
we were going to get together Sunday, and I told her that I wasn't feeling good and we should probably put it off so I could get better, and I
Yeah.
didn't want her to get sick. And she said, you know, I really don't get colds from other people, and I'd really like to see, even if it's just for a while, so let's do it anyway. I said, well,
Ooh.
okay. I mean, I felt uncomfortable with it because we were new as things starting out.
Yeah, she didn't give a shit, did she? She was like, no, let's go.
No, and I felt a little insecure because I want to be at my best. And I want to
Yeah.
be talking, and then I'm coughing and all this.
And we know how men are whenever y'all get colds.
Well,
It's like the end of the world. So you're like on your deathbed. You're like, I got the black lung pop.
and it wasn't a crazy memorable date, but I just remember she came over, and then,
Yeah.
she was ready to have a drink because she had her long week, whatever.
Yeah, and you had a hot toddy.
Yeah, I actually did decide to have a drink. And I had a couple that night. I wasn't planning. I had a couple, and then she had more than me because she was feeling better. And you know, we were just going to hang out for a couple hours. And then somehow next thing you know, it's 5 in the morning again. So
Damn it.
it was like a repeat, like her getting to
How
bed.
did we get here again?
Her getting to bed late, you know, finally falling asleep, me eating some food, watching ESPN,
Yeah.
trying to get to sleep.
And she's just like praying for 2 hours before she has to go back to work.
Yeah. So that happened. And then during the time, though, we had a couple phone calls. So I was learning a little bit about her family, her pets, you know,
Yeah.
what her general life is like, a little bit of that general information. And then the next weekend, I still didn't feel that good, but she still wanted to come over. So
So wait, so had y'all been physical at this point by then?
to some degree.
To some degree, okay. So we'll say third base. Third base.
So yeah, I don't even know what all the bases are. I've never really.
I mean, there's like 12 of them.
yeah.
From what I've heard. I don't know. I don't know sports ball.
Yeah, I know people talk about the bases, but
There's so many.
I mean, I've talked to close friends about things that have happened on dates, but I've never used a bases thing.
But you've
so-
definitely kissed her.
Yeah, yes.
Okay, so you definitely at least kissed her
Yeah.
and you
So,
seen her naked.
I mean, at this point, my answer is yes, I've seen her naked.
Okay, then boom. That's all we need to know.
I mean, I'm not saying it happened by then or not, but so
It happened eventually.
I thought I thought we would do something healthy. So we decided to go for a walk. There's some trails near here.
There is.
And I was kind of being cool, you know, I was like taking my shirt off and stuff. And,
So she saw you naked.
well, I don't know if that qualifies as naked, but then we went off trail a little bit and we made out in the woods and everything. And
Wow.
I was like, threw my shirt on the ground. I was hanging from branches, doing chin-ups and stuff.
Tarzan.
Little bit. There weren't any vines that I saw, but
Damn it.
now, at this point, I have to go back a little bit. So on the first date, she told me a couple other things about herself. She said she swears a lot,
Yeah.
which I don't know why she had to tell me that, but during the relationship, she never swore a lot, so I don't know why she told me that.
Really?
So maybe she thinks she swears a lot, but she doesn't. And,
She should meet me.
you know, I mean, when someone says they swear a lot, it doesn't really impress me. I'm like,
She's like, damn, you're a
Like-
cool bitch.
okay, whatever. It's just,
Here's your star.
yeah. So, but she grew up kind of in the country, so she said, well, now I'm going to have to swear, but just to quote her, but she said, I'm country as fuck. So I said, okay. But then I thought that'd be kind of cool because I grew up in New Jersey, but it was a small town, so we were outside all the time, riding bikes, skateboarding, playing football, running through the woods, or whatever. But as an adult down here in Texas, I haven't gotten outside as much as I used to when I was a kid.
Yeah.
So I thought, well, that's cool. You know, she's a little different. You know, maybe she'll know some things I don't know. And I've been thinking I want to do more outdoorsy type things. So maybe she's
Oh,
good at,
she's country as fuck.
yeah, maybe she's good at camping and all these things. Anyway, after walking through the woods, we came back and hung out and had a couple of drinks and somehow ended up staying up till 5 in the morning or whatever again. And
Damn it.
And I think the same thing, I think the next night she came up to see me at work and she came up kind of late at night and she ended up drinking too much. I was trying not to get her drunk, but she probably had a few before she got there. So then she had ended up coming home with me again, stay up till 5 in the morning, blah, blah, blah.
Damn it.
And I was still not even feeling that good. So it was, I don't know, I felt kind of unconfident because I didn't feel like I was at my best. Then what occurred next, or what occurred at that time, was the Great Chigger Attack of 2022.
Oh, man.
So I guess I don't know about chiggers, and her being very country, as she said.
Country as fuck, I
Yeah.
believe.
She did not warn me that I shouldn't throw my sweaty shirt on the ground and pick it up and wear it.
Yeah.
And I think I was like on the ground at one point, like,
Oh, so it was a chick attack on you.
yeah, she got some, but I
But
had
she's
like,
country as fuck, so she's about it. She's fine.
yeah, they were all, I had like 30 chigger bites all over. It really
Oh,
sucked.
no.
So I didn't get the benefit of her being country at that point.
She didn't give you her wisdom.
Yeah, I thought, well, we could have sprayed on some off, and you could have told me not to throw my shirt on the ground or whatever. And
Well, Tarzan, why are you making out in the fucking forest? Like,
I don't know. I thought it was cool. It's just, I don't know.
it's just the fields behind the apartments.
Well, no, it was
No.
the hills, the woods over.
Oh, the hills. Oh, the
Yeah.
hill ones.
Yeah.
Oh, so it's much more romantic.
I thought it was, and she thought it was, and
To the chiggers.
yeah, my body didn't look quite as nice with all this bites, but
Yeah, I've only had one jigger attack my whole life, and I was like 7 years old. And it was like I just got done like running like, I don't know, apparently they just made children run half marathons for fun. And
for fun.
for fun. They were like,
What village is this?
they keep the colony, man. Or press the little button.
That's all right. You already said the
Definitely
colony
not.
a couple times.
Definitely not the colony. It's definitely not the colony. But yeah, like it was, I don't know, it was like some like half marathon that they just made all the children run. Like we didn't get any money or anything. Like, and I remember like finishing, and I was so sweaty. And I laid down. I did pretty much the exact same thing because they gave us like a commemorative T-shirt.
Oh, yeah?
You know? That's how we knew we did it. They gave us a commemorative T-shirt, and like I laid the T-shirt down on the grass, and I just like laid down in a field like right after the very end because this is a half marathon. I'm a child. I don't want to run this. And the next day, I had the worst chigger bites like everywhere. Ever, because I was so sweaty and it like leaked down to like the shirt, I guess. It was so bad. But yeah, they're not anything to play around with.
Yeah, my chigger story probably had a little more fun behind it than yours.
Yeah. I just had to run a marathon for free. At least you got to be like sexy Tarzan.
Anyway, you know, we're a few dates in, but I felt like we were really close. We were,
Yeah.
you know, we had some conversations on the phone. She opened up a lot about a lot of stuff, and she talked about anxiety. She definitely talked about some of that stuff, how
Yeah.
she's had some real problems with it in the past, and she was kind of like a mental health advocate when it comes to stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And, you know, just opened up a lot of stuff where it'd probably be a rule of dating where you don't really want to tell the guy that
Yeah,
right
yeah.
off the bat.
Yeah.
Because she even got to the point where she said there's times, I guess it could be a helpful thing where she would just shut down to the point where she's not returning calls from her family or friends, and she's just
Yeah.
doing the bare minimum, just getting to work, getting her kids to school, getting her kids fed, and
They
it's
call that no spoon days.
no spoon days.
Yeah, there's like a, I don't know, it's someone made this theory up, but it's called the spoon theory, and so it's like I think you have like 5 or 10 spoons, and depending on how many shits you can give that day is how many spoons you have. There's days where like you have 10 spoons. I can do everything. I'm perfect. I'm fine. I'm great. But then there's 0 spoon days. I got no spoons. Bye. Like, and that's I mean, that's how it's always been presented to me with spoon theory. But yeah.
I guess I don't know if it's the same thing or not. But anyway, she was telling me that
It's
just
just
to
like
say,
how much you can deal with
Yeah,
during
and
a
she
certain
said-
day, you
yeah,
know?
she said, hey, I hope it doesn't happen, but if it does, don't take it personal. It might
Exactly,
be this.
yeah.
And I said, okay, well, if something like that happens, I'll try to roll with it. Just try to let me know what's up, and I'll do whatever I can to support you, give you your space, just whatever you need at the time.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, if you have no spoons, you have no spoons.
I guess these were some things that could be red flags. Some people would say, run for the hills,
Yeah.
this girl's crazy. But I know I had been going through my own stuff,
Yeah.
and, she was just super nice, and we got along really good, and I just thought she was a really good person, not just to me, but to her kids, to animals, to other people. So I said, yeah, maybe she has a couple of things like this, but if she's nice to me and everyone all the time, well, who cares? Yeah. And maybe, adding me into her life or something, maybe that stuff will lessen, will go away a little bit.
Yeah, and like who's not going through something
Yeah.
all the time? Every
Yeah.
single person is going through something at all times, you know?
So I decided to bypass some of that. And then after a couple of weeks like that, I was telling a friend of mine that I think, I want her to be my girlfriend. I just already feel that way. And I talked to another friend who I go to for advice a lot. And I'm going to give her the name Gwendolyn. I don't know if she's going to like it, but...
Very Game of Thrones. Love it.
Is it? I don't know. I don't know.
It's very
I don't know
Game
if
of
I've ever
Thrones.
heard that name before, but I'm
from
giving
Game
her
of
that
Thrones.
name, but I said, well, I want to ask her to be my, I almost said boyfriend, to be my girlfriend. And I don't know how to do it. It's been a while. And she said, well, it's been pretty quick, or it's pretty early, so.
Yeah, because y'all have only been on what, like 3 dates?
Yeah.
Okay, do we count the pre-date?
No, but I guess we could count the coming home for me after work, because she got.
So it would be 3 dates.
Well, no, but there was also, she came home after work, so probably
So
4.
4.
Yeah.
4. 4 and a pre.
Yeah. And
4.5.
and opening up a lot. So my friend Gwendolyn said, it's pretty early at him. I would let her bring it up because she hasn't had a boyfriend in years from what you said. And I said, yeah, I mean, I pretty much thought that's the right thing to do. So I said, okay. And maybe a week or 2 later, we were at a bar nearby and we were out on the patio. It was pretty crowded and there were a lot of people I knew there that night. So people kept coming up saying hi and introducing her. And when we got back home, we had a great time, of course. When we got back home, she said, so what are we? Because all these people kept referring to me as your girlfriend.
Yeah.
And I said, I don't know. I don't think I said that word, and I didn't even remember people saying that. But maybe she was having separate conversations.
Or maybe she was projecting that.
Yeah, maybe. So I said, well, do you want me to ask you to be my girlfriend? And she said, yeah. I said, okay, you want to be my girlfriend? She said, yeah. So she seemed pretty happy about it. And
I
then,
love it.
yeah, it was cute, whatever. And then, but the next week when she came over, she said, I'm kind of weirded out about this girlfriend thing because, you know, she was married, then divorced, and besides that guy, she hadn't had a boyfriend in over 10 years. And she was putting herself out there as someone who wants to be really independent and all this stuff. So I said, well, it's not that huge a deal. I'm not asking you to move in, and
Yeah.
I'm not asking you to marry me. It just means just a different level of
It just
commitment.
means a commitment, yeah.
Yeah, and we're both busy. And I said, I don't need to go out with anyone else. And I said, I don't want you to go out with anyone else.
Yeah.
I'd rather us just focus on each other
Yeah.
and make what we have better because it's already going great. And I said, if you want to go out with other guys, still...
We can address that later.
Yeah, or I said, just tell me right now.
Yeah.
And she said, well, I don't want to go out with any other guys. I said, okay, well...
So what's the deal?
Yeah, so I said, do you want to be my girlfriend? She said, yes. So that was cool. That worked out. And then she talked about some other boyfriends from her past. And she talked about how it seemed like they were all losers or jerks or whatever. And she was always the girl who tried to help them or fix them or
Yeah.
weather the storm and try to make things better. But it never worked out. Not necessarily her ex-husband was... I mean, she kind of portrayed him as a guy who was nice and had a good relationship with her kid and everything. So he
Yeah.
kind of seemed like a nice guy. But everyone else just seemed like, you know, she was dating the losers or the scammers or
Yeah.
whatever. And she was, you know, she said she's really happy with me. She didn't think I was like them at all. Mm-hmm. So that felt pretty good. At the time, like, yeah, that feels great. That feels great. And then in the back of my head, maybe when I'm thinking, you know, when I'm not with her, I'm thinking, is that a red flag?
Yeah.
That, because usually the girls that go out with the certain types of guys are not going to be happy or respect the good guy when they have it.
Yeah.
So I thought about that a little bit, but I also realized, you know, there's that possible red flag. There's the other anxiety stuff, red flags, whatever.
I mean, she sounds like I'm very similar in that way. Like, I dated a lot of guys that were... I fixed a lot of people. And my mom is the same way, too. It's crazy. Like, I swear it's genetic. Because my mom, like, even growing up, my friends would get kicked out of their house in, like, middle school or whatever because their parents were, like, done with their shit because they got them smoking weed or whatever. And my mom was always like, oh, no, you can come here. Like, my mom was, like, adopting children. There was always people in our house staying over. And so I was raised in the same way, you know, in the same mentality. Like, people might not be at their best, you know, but, like, you can fix them and you can make them get to their best. But, like, it can be, I can see what you're seeing, like, what you're talking about, like, about how it could be a red flag because a lot of those people just end up being manipulators and
Right.
and not actually good fucking people.
Well,
like,
I think what your mom did sounds cool because
sometimes
kids get to the point where
Yeah.
they just don't like their
But
own
a lot
parents.
of them were manipulating, and they were like, they just wanted to come live with my mom because my mom was cool as shit, you know, like.
Yeah, but maybe that was better than the alternative of them just
Yeah.
running away or becoming
Yeah,
drug
no,
addicts or whatever.
my mom's a saint. Like I can see how you were worried about it being like a red flag, but I wouldn't necessarily call it that. But I don't know the rest of the story.
Yeah,
so.
but the red flag stuff, it wasn't something in the front of my mind. I was really enjoying the moment, enjoying the relationship, and I was looking at more, listening to her talk about her past more, things she had gotten
Yeah.
through and improved herself, and got to build herself into a better, stronger person than
Yeah.
she had been before.
Yeah.
And that's what I was looking at someone who's
So you're taking the positives.
yeah.
Yeah.
But looking at she's in a really good spot in her life.
Mm-hmm.
Lives in a nice neighborhood, has her best friends down the street.
But she's worried about you being her boyfriend.
But at that point, it seemed like that worry was over.
Okay.
And
So.
so I was looking at like I'm trying to improve myself, she's trying to improve herself,
Yeah.
and we're growing together. And we also talked about how thought if we broke up, we'd be really respectful about it, and we'd be friends too because
Yeah.
we just seem to really look out for each other, not just romantically, but also in
Just
other
platonically,
ways. Yeah,
like
someone
as-
who would,
As a
kinda-
person, as a fucking fellow human being, you know?
Yeah. So, it was going really good, and then I was getting ready to go on a family trip soon after that, and I had a little apprehension about that because I hadn't been on a trip in years, so it just speaks more to general anxiety where,
Yeah.
all right, I'm doing this cross-country drive
Ooh, yeah, and that's
to
rough.
visit family.
And that's rough.
And my son couldn't go with me because he had to have these classes at school that he couldn't take a
Yeah.
break from, and he was working. So it was the first vacation without him, so that was really weird. And there's a weird thing about anxiety where if you get in a rut and you just don't do things, I think some kind of fear builds up in you.
Yep.
And you just get more fearful of doing all kinds of different things.
And then you can't do those things at all.
Yeah. So I'm like, okay, now I'm taking this cross-country trip alone. I got this
Yeah.
new girlfriend, and it kind of sucks to leave her.
And you don't
And-
know what's going to happen.
Yeah. So the night before I was leaving, I said, hey, can we meet? I know you have your kid, but can you get away for 20 minutes? I just want to hang out with you before I leave. And she said, yeah. And we met at a bar, and I said, yeah, I appreciate this. And she goes, my kid's at my friend's house, so we got a few hours. So that was really cool that she would just...
Oh, that's sweet.
Yeah, she turned the 20 minutes into 3 or 4 hours.
Yeah,
So,
that's very sweet.
yeah, so we had a great time. And what was really cool is once I started driving the next day, when I do a cross-country trip like that, my plan was the first night I'm going to drive through the night, I'll stop and just fall asleep in the car at a random gas station. I know some people think that's crazy, but
But it's not.
no.
It's really
I mean,
not.
I mean, I was alone.
If you've had to travel cross country before, you know it's really not.
Yeah. So my plan was to do that and then to stop by my hometown, New Jersey, and get a hotel there and then
Yeah.
eat at this pizza place I ate at when I was a kid. Then head on up to New England, which is just like another 4 or 5 hours, and I'd be clean and fresh for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
And so the first night it was really cool because I called her, late at night, and she stayed on the phone with me for like 3 hours, keep me awake while driving. And I just thought like, wow, that is really cool.
Yeah.
And then the next night, I talked to her and I said, yeah, I'm just going to get a hotel room because I'm in New Jersey now. And every freaking hotel around my hometown was booked. And I don't know why, because my hometown is not by the Jersey Shore. It's not by New York City. There's a lot of
Not
businesses
going to see
there.
Snooki.
But I keep going into these hotels and there's all these youth groups and stuff like that. And I'm like, why the hell is anyone just in New Jersey?
It's youth. It's youth group con,
Yeah. Who's bringing all these groups?
Christ con.
Yeah. To the middle of New Jersey to do nothing. Like, I feel bad because,
They're praising the Lord. What are you talking about?
yeah, I don't know what's going on. Like, all these kids are told they're going to go on this vacation are probably imagining, like, some beautiful lake or the
And
ocean.
then they get stuck at the Jersey Shore.
No, it's not even the Jersey Shore.
It's not
just,
even the Jersey Shore.
it's just New Jersey.
It's just Jersey.
Yeah. So, that night, I mean, she stayed on the phone with me. She was calling. She was on the interweb trying to find hotels that had open rooms.
Oh, that's so sweet.
And whenever they had an open room, it was like $300. I'm like, I'm not paying $300.
Yeah, exactly.
just
Just
for
stay at a
myself.
Ramada Inn.
Yeah.
I'm good. I'm really good.
So
I have a back seat.
so yeah, so I ended up just sleeping in the car overnight again.
Yeah.
But it was cool. I finally got up there and got to see my family, which was awesome. And I felt good. I was in this beautiful place. This girl that, you know, she just was awesome, staying up with me for hours, making sure I didn't fall asleep, just showing all the concern and care and everything. And yeah, it was just going good. I was just in a good spot at that point.
Yeah.
So I guess what I'm thinking is, you know, when someone has the red flags, do you stay away? Because, you know, there's tons of times where someone's starts dating someone and they're like, oh, too many red flags. And then they just don't continue with it. But then where do the red flag people go? Like,
I love the red flags. I love a red flag. I am like, more toxic, better. Let's go. I'm like, oh, you have, you have mommy issues. Let's go. That's fine. You have a bad, you know, past trauma in your past, whatever. Love it. Let's go. Red flag. Bring them to me. I will catch every single red flag. But that's just fun for me until it's not.
yeah, well, if it's...
It's always fun until it's not. The
Yeah,
red
but-
flag people are the most fun people to like hang out with and date until they're not.
Yeah, and a lot of them could be good people, but
No,
I guess
no, no, they're usually not. They're usually not. But yeah, it's always a great time. You have a great time, and then all of a sudden you wake up one day and you're like, what the fuck am I doing? Like, this is terrible. And you're like, I can't even get out of it at this point because you're already too far gone. But yeah, red flags are fun until they're not.
yeah,
Until they're not. But for you, like someone that's like trying to like have an actual relationship, like a serious relationship, I can understand avoiding the red flags. I will never, because
Yeah.
they're too fun.
Well, at this point, I wasn't worried. I just appreciated her individualism because
Yeah.
I'm kind of like that.
Yeah.
And like I said, if someone's
Yeah, she
do-
seemed.
yeah, if someone's doing stuff to improve their life, because like I said, like where do you put all the red flag people? You just put them in a building somewhere, and then
You bring them to me. You bring them to me, and then I just go through them and just deal with the heartbreak afterwards. That's what
Okay.
that's what I deal with.
because some people just need a couple breaks. Some people are trying to do some improvements in their lives, and they
No,
might
and
they might have
that's-
some things go wrong. And if they could get a couple breaks,
Yeah.
and someone could believe in them, then they could build momentum in a positive direction.
And that's what it seems like she was. That's how it seems like she was. Like, you know, like she's just had shitty relationships in the past, and she might deal with depression or anxiety, but she's aware of it, which is a first green flag.
Yeah, definitely.
And she's trying to deal with it in best way she knows how, which is a second green flag. And she's just going about her way of doing it. I mean, she seems like she had her head on her shoulders for the most part. If I were to have looked at y'all's relationship at that point, I would not say any red flags.
Yeah, and I mean her
Orange flags, maybe.
and her history. I mean, someone who's worked,
Yellow.
had jobs, all that stuff. I mean, it's not like
Yeah.
she's one of those people who's unemployed and just
Yeah,
could never
exactly.
get
She's
jobs. It wasn't
yeah,
like- it wasn't
exactly.
like that
She's not
stuff.
hobosexual.
Yeah.
She's not hobosexual. She's fine. She's got her own shit. She's doing great. Like, but yeah, I wouldn't see any of those things that you brought up as like necessarily red flags. Maybe yellow. Maybe yellow.
So one thing I wanted to talk about was you talked about having the open relationship.
Yeah.
So that's something I don't think I could deal with.
Yeah, it's hard.
I'm pretty sure that happened when I was younger at times.
Yeah, you just probably weren't.
I
You
don't
probably
think I
didn't
had that
sign
trait.
up for it.
I mean, I'm thinking of, I think I brought up on an earlier show a girl I went out with who was possibly a stripper.
Oh yeah, dude. If you're with a stripper, then you're definitely in an open relationship for sure.
Well, that's not always true, but
No, that is absolutely always true.
I mean, this is when, before I worked in one of those clubs when I was a lot younger, but yeah, we started dating and it was really good and
And you thought you were the only one?
it was a lot of fun. Well, I don't know. I mean, she was like, I think I said before, you know, she would pay for drinks and pay for dinner or
Oh, yeah,
whatever.
just making money.
Yeah. But I have a feeling that I was in an open relationship.
But you didn't sign up for it.
Right, because some nights I worked in a bar, so some nights I was working and she wasn't there. And she was a really good-looking young girl, meeting all kinds of guys.
Yeah,
Good-looking
suitors.
guys, rich guys, all that stuff.
Yeah, rich guys, old guys.
Yeah, so that could have been an open relationship. At some point, I definitely knew it was, and then
Yeah,
I was able to be a fair participant
yeah,
in the open relationship.
yeah.
So-
You're like, all right, I'm calling it off.
Well, I didn't necessarily call it off, but I knew it's like,
You're
okay,
like, if you're gonna have your fun, I'm gonna have my fun too.
yeah, something like that.
Yeah, it's difficult, but it can work. So I feel like polyamory and like open relationships have been. I mean, obviously they've been around for a long time, a very long time, but they're.
How long?
I don't know, since Jesus times. I don't
Okay.
know. You'd have to ask him. But it's become more popular because I feel like people are becoming more realistic.
Maybe back in the ancient Mesopotamian days.
Yeah, for sure.
okay.
Yeah, for sure.
That's
yeah,
what I
you
was
got like your harlots and whatnot. Like, yeah.
Okay.
I get it. I get that. But like, I feel like people have just become more in the past couple of generations become more honest with themselves about like, like maybe one person can't satisfy all of my needs, and maybe that might take more than one person. Like, especially like if you take someone like me that's like bisexual, like a man cannot do for me what a woman can do for me. So like it's impossible for me to get everything from one specific person. But being in an open relationship is not anything to take lightly. It's work. It really is. Like, you have to have very good communication with your partner if you have like a primary partner.
Yeah, because I'm thinking like,
Yeah, you have.
what are the rules? Like, say I'm in an open relationship.
I mean, your rules are whatever you dictate them to be.
Okay,
But that's
so-
something that you would have to talk to your partner about. If you even have a partner, I mean, I know a lot of people that are poly that are like, they don't have a primary partner. They kind of just float around and like have like a bunch of people at this base level connection. Almost like hookup, but like a little bit more connection.
I think
but,
that's just called a person
Being a
without
hoe?
a girlfriend or boyfriend.
yeah,
or that. Yeah.
like, we can call a spade a spade. It's fine. But yeah, but for me, like, I have a primary partner. But yeah, it's like we have connections with other people. Well, I don't think he does. I do. But you have to be. It's almost redundant. It's almost like annoying how much you have to talk about it because you have to make sure that you're on the same page constantly, 24/7. So if you're not able to communicate with your partner in that way, I would definitely not advocate for anything like that. But for me, clearly I love talking. So like you want to have communication, open communication, I love it. I will talk to you about our relationship for 35 hours straight. It's fine. I love communication. I'm a communication girl.
Yeah, I don't think I could do it at this point.
It's hard. Yeah, it's
'Cause
hard. And plus, like, you have to deal with the jealousy. The jealousy is like a huge. I don't give a shit what anyone says. Some people are like, oh, I'm just not a jealous person. Blah blah blah. No, everyone's a jealous person. When you love someone, when you're in love with someone, you don't ever want to see that person with someone else, ever.
Yeah, I think
Like-
with an open relationship, a lot of the times when two people enter into it, for a guy, for example, for sure,
Yeah.
if I'm in an open relationship, I would think that, okay, I could go out with other girls, but I don't want her to go out with any other guys. So
Yeah. See, and it's
So-
like the opposite for me. Like my primary partner, like, he doesn't want anything to do with anyone else, and I'm like, you can go. You could go do whatever you want, but he's just like, no. He's like, I'm cool. He's like, you just do what you need to do, and I'm like, all right, that's fine. But
yeah, I think I
it's-
would have too many questions that I wouldn't want answers to. For example, I'd be saying to you, if you were my partner in an open relationship, so, or okay, we're on a date tonight, so when was the last time you had sex with a guy?
Yeah. Well,
And
I
then
mean, there's also like,
So like, okay, what's the acceptable time limit for that?
There's all
Like, I
those
don't know what it
things
would
that
be.
need to that you have to navigate, but like I navigate all those. We're on a very much like don't ask, don't tell type policy. Like, he doesn't want to hear about my shit. I'm not gonna go home and brag to him and stuff.
Yeah, like
It's just,
how tall was this guy and how much money does he make?
yeah,
and,
exactly. Like, I'm not
I-
gonna talk about that. That's just disrespectful. Like, I do know like a lot of poly couples and stuff that like they do like that. They enjoy hearing about other experiences that they've had with other people. That's just not my dynamic.
Yeah, I'm just gonna try to avoid that open relationship
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah. Well, I mean, I don't think most people should really do that.
Yeah, I definitely enjoyed the feeling of the last relationship I had where we really focused on each other and into each
Yeah.
other, and it made the time that we had together so much more enjoyable, so much more intense.
Yeah, exactly. Like, and I love an exclusive relationship. Like, don't get me wrong. If like my primary partner were to tell me like, hey, I want to close this off right now, like I absolutely would. I would 110. I did before.
Right.
Like, this is the second time that we've dated, and the first time we started open and he closed it off. And so like, if he ever wanted to close it off, yeah, no big deal. I'm gonna do that. I'm willing to do that for you. But yeah, there's nothing better than feeling like you're like wanted and loved by someone, you know, on a different level than anyone else. I love that.
Yeah, no, that's a great thing. Oh, speaking of which, do we want to take a quick break and look at my socks?
Yeah, we should.
Okay.